If I offered you $1 million a year, would you take it? Most of you would say yes without a second thought, but what if you only got 2 hours off work a week? Then would you? Most would say no. So look, the title of the video is a lie. I'm not going to tell you that money means nothing because it doesn't matter. It matters more than almost anything else that you can ever control in your life. But the number doesn't matter, or at least not on its own. And I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes showing you the difference because the gap is where people lose decades. By the end of this, you're going to have a number, and it's not going to be your salary, it'll be a different one. And I'll tell you in about 30 seconds whether the money you're already making is doing anything for you whatsoever. And the reason nobody hands you this number is because it isn't on your bank account, but it's in your calendar. Here's what money actually is. Stripped of everything else, it's stored work. You did something, someone else valued it, and they gave you a claim on other people's time and effort that you can cash in later. That's it. That's the entire thing. Which means value has no money when it's sitting still. $1 million in your bank account you can never touch is worth exactly zero. Less than zero, it is a number on the screen that will outlive you. Money is only ever a promise about future options. Well, that's the entire job. And once you see it that way, the question stops being, how much do I have? And the question becomes, does this actually do what it let me do before? Because if the answer is nothing, if the number goes up in your life, but your life stays identical, you didn't get richer, you just got a bigger number, those are different events, and people confuse them constantly. Okay, the $1 million. Let's actually run it. $1 million a year and off 2 hours a week. That's 104 hours a year that actually belong to you. Take out sleep and you've got about 6,000 working hours in a year. So you sold roughly 5,900 of them to keep 104. Now flip it. Divide the money by the freedom. Each one of those free hours costs you about $9,600. On paper, that sounds incredible. $9,000 an hour until you remember what you paid with. You didn't pay with money. You paid with the only thing that will never refill. Now, here's a comparison that actually broke my brain. Someone making $60,000 a year with 30 genuinely free hours a week, not off work, free, nobody can reach them, has 1,506 hours a year. 15 times the life, 1% of the income. I'm not saying the person is winning, I'm just saying we don't have a word for what they have, so nobody chases it. And you can't chase a thing you can't name. Here is a little story on myself when it comes to this. I was making over $160,000 a year. Most of you watching this have never seen that type of money. And at first it seemed great. When I saw how much I was going to be making, it seemed like a promise that I couldn't believe until I actually got into it. Waking up at 4 in the morning, getting home at 5, maybe, sometimes later, 6 days a week. That one day off was spent hanging out with the family a few hours I could because I didn't get to through the week and getting ready for the next work week. When majority of my day off was spent trying to recuperate and get ready to go to work for another week for years of my life, I really started to evaluate, what is money without freedom? It's nothing. It is just a number that means nothing because yes, you can go sleep in a fancier bed and drive a fancier car back and forth, but what does that actually mean in the grand scheme of things if you don't get to enjoy it outside of getting ready for work? So if the number isn't the thing, what is? Money buys 3 things and only 3. Everything else is decoration. 1. Distance from bad options. This is the big one, and it's the only one nobody talks about because it's invisible. Money has the ability to say no. No to the job, no to the client, no to the apartment, the relationship, the city, anything that you're tolerating because you can't afford not to. Poverty is not only not having money, it is having no choices. Money first and most valuable function is putting distance between you and the decisions you're forced to make otherwise. Number 2, control over your time. Not free time, control. There is a difference. Free time you're given can be taken back. Control means you decide what Tuesday looks like. Most people trade this one way first because it is the easiest thing to sell and the hardest thing to buy back. Number 3, speed. Money converts directly into time at a fixed exchange rate. Every hour of driving, cleaning, waiting, fixing, or figuring out, you can buy those back. Most people don't start doing this until they're wealthy, which is backwards because the person that needs the hours the most are the people who have the fewest. That's the list. Options, control, and speed. Notice that all three are the same thing wearing different clothes. Freedom. So here's how it goes wrong. And it's almost never dramatic. You get a raise. Good. You deserved it. And because you deserved it, you upgrade something. Your home, the car, your phone plan, whatever reasonable, everyone does it. But now your life costs more, which means the job you'd have to quit at the old salary, you probably can't quit at the new one. The raise didn't buy you any more freedom. It bought you a more expensive cage. This is a ratchet. It only turns one direction. Every increase is a fixed cost that converts money into obligation. An obligation is the exact opposite of the thing money was supposed to give you. And the cruel part is that it feels like progress the entire time. Every single step feels like it's correct. You never make one bad decision. You wake up at 34 with a great salary, but no exits. Now I want to name why we do this because I don't think it's pure stupidity. The number is legible. Other people can see it. A salary, a car, a postcode, those transmit. They tell a story about you to people who will never know you. Freedom doesn't transmit. Nobody can see your Tuesday. Nobody's impressed that you weren't in a meeting. So we optimize for the visible one. Not because we're shallow, but because being ordinary is genuinely terrifying. And the number of the fast is available proof that you're not. Except the audience you're performing for, they're just not watching. They're too busy performing for their own audience, everyone is on stage, and nobody's in the seats. Some of you already know your number is going up and your freedom is going down, and you've known this for a while. You've got a specific job or a specific commitment in your head right now that you've been calling temporary for longer than a temporary thing lasts. I did the exact same thing. I planned on using my job as a temporary ladder, but I just could not hold on to it. But I'm not going to tell you to quit. That's not advice, that's just noise from someone who doesn't have your bills. Hold on to that thing for the next 3 minutes. Because the rest of this is about how you get out of it on purpose instead of by accident. 3 moves. All of them work at any income. That's deliberate. None of this requires you to be rich first. Move 1. Find your freedom number. Not your rich number. Everyone has a rich number and it's fake because it moves every time you get near it. And that is a completely fine thing. Your goals should be a new lifestyle that you want to achieve. If your goal is to be a millionaire, once you reach a millionaire, you will go for the next goal and a new lifestyle to maintain, and that is completely fine. Your freedom number, though, is how many months would it take to walk away right now and be fine. That's it. That's the number. Saving divided by what your life actually costs per month. If it's 0, every decision you make is being made by someone else. At 3 months, you can quit a bad job before it damages you. At 12, you can take a real risk. The business, the move, the thing you keep not doing. At 24, you're basically unemployable. In the good way. You can say no to almost anything. Go work that out later, day. It takes 90 seconds and most of you have never done it once. Which is insane when you think about it, how much of their life it actually explains. Time does not stop for anyone. If you decide right now to start a business, in 3 years that business could be successful and you could quit the job you hate. Or you can spend the next 3 years working at the job you hate and in 3 years wish you would have started a business 3 years ago. No matter what, the 3 years will happen. Everyone waits until they're wealthy to buy back hours. Do it in $10 increments instead. The commute you can shorten. The chore you hand off once a month, the tool that saves you 20 minutes a day. That's 2 full days a year. But the first thing to buy with money is never a thing. It's an hour. Get in that habit while the hours are cheap, because the habit is what scales, not the budget. While you're in this stage of trying to break out of the 9 to 5, variable spending is fine. Spend on your holidays, food, and whatever you may need. Things that are reversible. Things you can stop next month. So, to actually answer the title, money matters enormously. It's the most powerful tool for freedom anyone has ever invented. But pretending otherwise is a thing people say when they're losing and want it to be a choice. But it's a tool. Tools don't matter. What you build with them matters. $1 million a year with 2 hours off isn't wealth. It's a very well-paid job that you can't leave. And 60 grand with 12-month runway and a Tuesday that belongs to you might be the richest anyone you know actually is. The number is what other people see. The freedom is the part you actually live in. And nobody's coming to tell you which one you've been chasing. You already know, you've known the whole video. So which one are you on right now? Building the runway or building the cage? Just comment which. I do read them all, and I'm genuinely more interested in honest answers than good ones. And if you've worked out your freedom number in your head, and now it was just 0, don't spiral about it. But here is the best part. You can do both. You can have both. You can have the freedom and the number, but that will never come working your 9 to 5. So as long as you have a 9 to 5, in most cases you'll have to sacrifice freedom or your outer image. But if you decide to create something from yourself, you have to sacrifice both now to have both later. And for me, being ordinary is the worst fear of all.